Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the day. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood.
Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me your boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
How long has that been our intro?
I don't know. This is the very beginning of time. I don't know.
We have the dope pod to step to, and I get a little frustrated sometimes
when
we're
going to have to do this again.
I see it here, Mr. Me Too.
All right, stop down. I'm not doing this. 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 I'm not doing this.
Yeah, you too. Okay, we get it. Yep.
I'm not doing this every day on the pod, Jalen.
I know.
Why?
Yeah, you too.
This is just a difference in our personalities. Now we're going to have to keep this in. You know what I mean?
Why?
I'm going to let other people toot the horn.
Why?
You know what I mean? I don't reach behind my back and toot my own horn. You know what I mean? Let other people toot. I farted in the studio. Play it, Reg. I farted in the studio.
You're getting emotional. I never said that our podcast was great. I said, how long have we been using that intro?
6 years? But I don't think but it's evolved over time. And anyone who's been listening a long time knows that there's been an evolution to it. It's gotten more professional over time.
I look on my mantle, and I'm not going to be satisfied until I see an Emmy. We rich, but we not filthy.
Oh, we're not getting an Emmy from this show. We're not getting an Emmy from this show. We have to create a 30 for 30 or something. You know what I mean? Like me and you got to start thinking about highbrow features that we got to put together or something. That's how we get Emmys, Jalen. But I was thinking, I'm not going to lie about this. I was walking up the stairs to my house. I know the exact place I was yesterday. So this is relevant. Yesterday, I was walking up the stairs. I said to myself, should we change the intro? What? I was like, we're screaming. We're making references that no one even understands. And I was like, should we change the intro? And by the time I got to the top of the steps, I was like, what are you doing, Jacoby? You know what I mean? Like, what are you trying to fix? Like, what is broken that you're trying to fix? So we should not change the intro. Does it ever cross your mind?
No.
No, it doesn't.
The reason why I brought it up is because it's refreshing to me when I see people that have caught up and try to take bits and pieces of what we do, and then you're able to do it on the underground level and take it mainstream like it's yours. So every now and then I have to call that out.
Well,
that's
you got to name
saying.
names. All right, then you got to name names.
All right. You want me to?
No, I don't want you to. No, I really don't want you to. And I'll make them edit it out if you do.
Okay.
He is Jalen Rose.
I'm not doing it, so you won't be able to cut that part out.
No, I don't want to cut that part out. It's all in. Can we do it now?
What up, though?
No, now you're just mailing it in. I'm David Jacoby.
A podcast is supposed to be personal.
It is. We're leaving all this in.
The cool check in. Even though when people biting us. Center stage on the mic.
And we putting it on wax. It's the new style.
We're Jalen and Jacoby. What do we do?
We clearly give the people what they want. Those that work in the media, but more importantly, those that support our program. Big shout to all the Mr. Me Too's out there. If you get a chance, hit me at Jalen and Jacoby and or at D Jacoby up on Twitter. And call out when you see somebody handling themselves like a Mr. Me Too from our program. Just holler at me. Let me know.
See, me and you got different. You know my angle on this, right? There's no such thing as original idea, number one. Everyone's done something before. And number two is, if anybody does something or bit your style or whatever, that's a compliment. That is a huge compliment. That is a huge salute. And that's just, and I feel bad for them. You know what I mean? I feel bad they don't have their own thing, their own wave to ride.
I've come full circle to this one until I figured it's hard being a trailblazer. Were there a team that was wearing black socks as a unit before the Fab Five?
I don't think so.
So everything hadn't been done. Number one, to answer your statement. Number two, the reason why I came full circle is there are people walking this earth named Jalen that actually troll me on Twitter.
No, there's too many Jalens now.
Just think about that for a second.
Do you block him or do you still not block?
No, of course. I'm a block. Come on.
You can't block a Jalen.
Come on.
You can't block a Jalen.
I quoted Jada earlier by saying, we rich, we not filthy. I'm going to quote Fab here by saying, when you're young, you can be hungry, but don't behave like you starving.
Did Fab say that?
Absolutely.
Good.
Facts on facts on facts. Their album is fire.
I listened to a little bit today, too.
You know they're going to be on First Take with us Thursday.
I saw that. They're not going to let us all on at the same time. Desk isn't big enough.
Guess what a producer that was watching Jalen and Jacoby said? What? I got a good idea.
That's not how this works, Jay. They're coming out. Let me tell you how this works. I've been in this game a long time. They're coming out they got a project out. They have a publicist. Publicist reach out to ESPN. ESPN says, cool, we'd love to have them on. They're in Los Angeles at this time. They're in New York at this time. Oh, would they like to come up on Thursday to Bristol to do some promotions? And then they ask the artist, like, how far away is Bristol from New York? Like 2 hours, but we'll get you a car service. It'll be fine. You can smoke. And then they'll be like, all right, we'll be there. That was Jada.
But there also has to be that show that lets you in the door first.
Mm-hmm. I love those two guys on the show. I want them to come back.
I want them to do an intro for us. An outro. Something. Bars!
Do you know what the people want? The people want to talk about Detroit basketball. What do they want to talk about? The Pistons went into Boston and delivered a statement win over the Celtics. Jalen, I know you've been begging to talk about the Pistons for so long, but not until they beat the team with the best record in the league, fueled by Andre Drummond. But look at what they have done so far. They've got, 9th in offensive rating, 14th in defensive rating, great rebounding. They're 3rd in three-point percentage. Jalen, finally, you get to wax poetic about the keys to the success of this Piston season thus far.
See, here's the thing. You might see me on television like, he's rocking Cartiers, he's rocking Gazelles, he's rocking Gucci's. Because these are the things growing up in the city of Detroit I always dreamed about doing.
You also
now
dreamed
I have
about the Pistons being
opportunity
good.
to do so. The same with my Detroit Pistons. There are times where we have the bad boy era. Then we had the Mr. Big Shot and Rip Hamilton and Rashid and Ben Wallace era. Now it's the stand by me.
Yes, give it to me.
Oh, stand by me. I've been trying to tell people he's a top-tier coach in the NBA. I saw what he did in Miami, though they went on to win the championship with Pat Riley. I saw what he did in Orlando, and I'm watching right in front of my very eyes the transformation of my Detroit basketball Pistons. And the thing that I appreciate is when the team embodies a style of play that the city relates to.
Oh, okay.
And that's what has happened here. Yes, we have high-paid, maximum salary guys like Reggie Jackson and Andre Drummond. But the blue-collar fiber of the squad is what makes us tick. In particular, the improvement of Andre Drummond. We'll get to the free throw shooting. He always was able to get buckets, turn over both shoulders, catch lobs. He was always able to get rebounds. Andre Drummond is getting over a block a game.
Yep.
And over 15 boards. The last person to put up those type of numbers was in the late 70s. Okay? In those two categories.
Avery Bradley comes to mind as someone who represents the blue-collar essence of Detroit Rock City.
When he played in Boston, what did I tell you about Avery Bradley?
Kyrie Irving was like, oh no. Did you see the game? I watched every second of the game. Avery Bradley was like, Kyrie, I've got you tonight. I've got you tonight. Kyrie did not look good last night. And a lot of it had to do because Avery Bradley did not allow him to look good last night.
And the reason why he's one of my crazy glue guys, and I say that affectionately, when you look at that gentleman, he looked like a boxer. He walk in, face all swole up. He not smiling, but he fighting through every screen. He's competing on every place, making an open three. Those type of guys make a guy like Tobias Harris like, wait a minute, y'all move Morris out of the way, I get minutes at the 3, I get minutes at the 4.
Tobias Harris is flourishing.
30s.
Tobias Harris is flourishing this year.
No question about it.
But
I'm already putting it on wax. The Pistons get 2 All-Stars this year, Andre Drummond and Tobias Harris. That's how well this squad is playing so far.
Well, one of the things that has improved so much about Andre Drummond's games is his free throw shooting. He is now shooting 61.8%, and he's making big buckets. Last night, the Celtics actually tried to hack a Drummond strategy. They tried it one time, and then Brad Stevens just went away from it. And he tried, if you remember, virtual reality goggles. Jalen, should everybody try virtual reality goggles to strengthen their weaknesses?
Props to the team for making whatever the player may need available an option for him to improve. But the most props go to JRLA supporter, and big shout to his mom, who's terrific as well. Andre Drummond, who had the worst free throw percentage of any player in the history of the NBA.
He was so good from the line last. I think he was 6 for 8, and he's going like this every time he made one. I was so happy for him.
And now all of a sudden, he's making free throws in the clutch. This gives credence to my argument. This is why you should not eliminate the ability of players to foul poor free throw shooters. If guys want to get on the free throw line and make the only uncontested shot from 15 feet where no one is moving, that's the same length that it is in elementary, middle school, high school, and college, Andre Drummond is a perfect example of that improvement.
You know Robertson and you know DeAndre Jordan just went and bought some virtual reality goggles. They don't even know if they're just playing video games in them, but they definitely have some virtual reality goggles on the bench for the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan right now. There's bad news for the Clippers, though. Last night, as they're playing the Lakers in a little crosstown, quote-unquote, rivalry, there was this play, little scrum for a loose ball. Austin Rivers gets kind of pushed into Blake Griffin's knee. It bends awkwardly. Griffin was down. He was cursing. He was screaming. It looked awful. He actually stayed in the game for one possession and walked off, as you see, under his own power. But the news isn't great. He has a strained MCL in his left leg, and the Woj dropped the report that he'll be out for 2 months. What does this mean for the future of the Clippers?
The unfortunate thing for the Clippers is this season seems to be one of cursed variety to the point where now they're going to continue to break down their roster. Mm-hmm. And I think in doing so, it's going to start with DeAndre Jordan, who becomes a free agent after this year. Blake, who's put up great regular season numbers, seems to be hurt at the most inopportune times, whether regular season or postseason. In this case, it was friendly fire. In theory, his own teammate falling into his leg, kind of like Zaza Pachulia did last season with Kevin Durant.
Yep.
And so based on that, now you're going to see the face of the Clippers look a lot different in uniform. Unfortunately, you may also see the coaching staff look a lot different. And as I see a shakeup that has happened in Memphis, I'm going to tell you something. David Fizdale is going to be a hot commodity as a head coach. And lastly, Colin Kaepernick is on the cover of GQ flipping through the pages like, why don't Mark Jackson have a job in the NBA again?
So wait a second. Let me unpack this, Mr. Rose. Not only are you saying that perhaps Doc Rivers will not finish the season coaching for the Los Angeles Clippers, you think Ballmer and Jerry West are looking around at the headlines and say, wait, David Fizdale got fired and no one can really figure out why he got fired and he's on the market? Maybe we should just send a text message to his agent and just, I don't know, set up a little secret conference call. You think something like that could happen? Yep. Jalen, I know you can't confirm because you don't want to give up your sources, but that's the information where you will get first on Jalen and Jacoby.
I know. Yep. Yeah, you too. Okay, we get it. Yep.
Computer, execute 12.4p operation.
Optimizing algorithm. Running encryption packet alpha. Night. Oh, I don't feel so good.
What is it, computer?
Is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. I feel a little clammy. I should lie down or something.
A computer with a virus? Surprising. What's not surprising? How much you could save by switching to Geico.
Those oysters Rockefeller were a mistake.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Jalen, there are rumors there are little notions out in the air. Joe Vardon of Cleveland.com reporting that a league source said that the Cavs would consider a trade package that would bring them DeAndre Jordan for Tristan Thompson and maybe a pick or maybe someone else. Do you think the Cavs should consider something like this?
I am so for this.
I'm against it.
The Cavs should do this deal. I'll tell you the basketball reasons.
Okay.
DeAndre's taller.
Yes.
A better rebounder, a better shot blocker. He's a free agent after this year. You can lock him up long term. You're going to need players if you don't have the ability to stretch the floor to play five to actually be run, jump, dunk, catch, lob type of players. But the other reason why I'm so for this, and I really like Tristan Thompson, I hope he gets back healthy, this puts the Kardashian family back together again.
Oh, puts them in Los Angeles. Yeah, get closer to the family.
No
I love that angle. Everybody
it.
wants to be close to their family. I love that. But Jalen,
how about this? So,
Jalen,
Tristan's dating a Kardashian and Blake's dating a Jenner. It's only right.
I do like that. However, let me give you some basketball reasons why I don't think they should do this. If they're going to win the championship, who are they likely going to face in the finals? The Golden State Warriors. In the final 6 minutes of every finals game, you cannot put DeAndre Jordan on the floor. Not just for free throw shooting. Imagine he puts on some virtual reality goggles like Andre Drummond and turns that around. He can't switch on to anybody. And that's what happens in the finals. Like, I think it would be great for the regular season, this move, but in the finals, I just feel like they would find ways to isolate him, get him on the perimeter, get fouls on him, and it would just be a mess. And then he'd end up sitting on the bench, and Kevin Love would be playing center, and it wouldn't really work. That's why I wouldn't do this.
I disagree. Let me teach you something, young man.
Let's move on to another topic. I don't want to hear from you.
The goal is to be able to play multiple styles. So you mean to tell me when they play against those same teams, is Tristan Thompson going to be in the game?
Yes, Tristan Thompson can switch on. We've seen it. We have 2 years of data of Tristan Thompson playing pretty good defense and terrible offense against that very same Warriors team.
I feel like DeAndre Jordan could put that level of effort in, but also on the other end, he should be able to dominate in the paint, in particular, catching lobs and getting all of the dirty work plays happen.
You know one thing I'm not doing? I'm not giving up that Brooklyn pick, though. If I'm the Cavs and I'm not sure LeBron's coming back, I'm not giving up the Brooklyn pick. You can ask for it. We can start the negotiation there, but I am not giving up that Brooklyn pick and Tristan Thompson for DeAndre Jordan. I'm glad we finally agreed on something. Let's move on. So, Fizdale got fired. And everyone seems to agree that it's sort of unjust, and we don't really know what happened. A lot of people are pointing to this interview that Marcus Gasol did when he was benched in the fourth quarter, but something tells me that an upset player doesn't necessarily get a coach fired. There's a lot of incidents, a lot of behind-the-scenes things we don't understand. Someone else who doesn't really understand it, but offered a little bit of a theory, was LeBron James. Let's listen to LeBron.
I don't know the details of it because I'm not around, but I know the type of coach Fizz is. I know how players relate to him, and I know what he stands for. And he don't stand for no. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe that's what it was because he ain't gonna kiss nobody. I know that.
Jalen, can I read way too much into this because I'm a media member?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I think what LeBron James is alluding to is the fact that he won't kiss up to people. People like, oh, I don't know, the front office, the general manager, the owner, and perhaps there was a clash of ideology. Perhaps there was an exchange of words. And perhaps during this 8-game losing streak when, like you always say, winning's the best deodorant, well, guess what? Losing makes you stink. And when everyone's upset and everyone's pointing the finger and everyone's mad, maybe some expletives were shared, and maybe he just lost the relationship with the people that employed him, and that's why he is out of the league at the moment. Because there is no real forward-facing or wins and losses or basketball reasons that he would be fired, especially because of an 8-game losing streak, as bad as that is, with the roster that he has, the injuries that they've had, doesn't really make sense. Do you buy this theory based on not much?
Fizdale, terrific coach who did more with less last year and continued to do so at the beginning of this year. I hope he and Mark Jackson line up side to side playing against one another next year because they both deserve to have jobs really quick, fast, and a hurry in this league.
You mean playing against each other in the Big Three?
Here's the theory. What ends up happening is Memphis is a unique situation. They didn't give him the mega deal like Luke Walton got in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
When they decide that they're going to retire Zach Randolph and Tony Allen's numbers for their productivity, but also for their service, and they're embodying the grit and grind nature. Basically, what that tells the fan base and everybody around that we want Marc Gasol and Mike Conley to be here forever so we can do the exact same thing for him. If Marc Gasol isn't seeing eye to eye with any coach and he comes to the front office and says, I want to be moved, regardless of where he ranks amongst centers in today's game, that now becomes a stain on the organization and it affects their bottom line if he's unhappy there. So basically what they did is choose the lesser of two evils. Keep the big fella that's in uniform happy. Hopefully he'll stay there for a really long time, get his numbers in the rafters like the other gentleman that I mentioned. We know Fizdale was a good coach for us. We figure he will land on his feet, but this was the choice they made under those circumstances, even though, like LeBron James and like many, I didn't agree with how it was handled.
Well, something tells me more information about this will come out as time goes on. But right now, Jalen, can you take us behind the curtain? A fan recently posted this video of his son or one of his family members filmed this of him just trying to get Steph Curry's attention. We've all seen this by now. He's got a jersey. He's trying to get Steph's attention. He loves you, Steph. I love you, Steph. Steph is looking his direction within earshot, must have heard him, but did not acknowledge him or grant his request for an autograph. This is somehow turned into a controversial thing. Ayesha Curry's weighed in. Our girl Jamela Hill is weighed in. It's become a thing now. But Jalen, take us behind the curtain. What is going through Steph Curry's head as this happens?
A couple of things. Because this is a loaded circumstance. And I wish it wasn't late in the segment so I could really break down every tentacle of what's happening here. Because like the great American philosopher Chris Tucker once said, if I could be where everybody wanted me to be, I would be confused. And that's the quandary that Steph Curry finds himself in. First and foremost, as a black athlete, when you're in the public domain, in particular NBA or NFL, though you dominate the field or the court, you're the minority in the stands. So a lot of people from the outside, especially those that look like me, like, even though you're looking for your family, you got to find time to sign for the young brother. Put Steph in an awkward spot. The young brother at the game. You got Clay. You got a couple of other people. All of a sudden, you feel a level of, I know I'm getting Steph now. I'm right here. Ain't nobody around. Yo! And he got something else on his mind, whatever it is. We're not here to judge. So in each circumstance, I actually think both individuals were right by the way they handled it, because as somebody who signed multiple autographs for anybody that asks, the one person that complains is unfortunately the one person you don't get to. And lastly, when people don't allow you to distract them, when people don't allow themselves to distract you, they get upset. Sometimes they don't care if you're eating dinner. They don't care if you're on the phone. They don't care if you're walking with your kids. They want their time and their energy with you. And as a public figure, this is why we're put in a position to give back to those who have meant so much to us. So I see both sides. It's unfortunate that it played out the way that it played out. But here's what's going to happen.
He's gonna get a special invite. He's gonna be in the Curry VIP section. It's all gonna work out for everybody. So why we even talk about it? We always get people what they want here, ladies.
Hey, ladies!
Make sure you call us up at 985-80-JALEN. Do it right now. Don't pretend like you're gonna do it later, because you're not gonna stop. You're not gonna be thinking about this podcast later. 985-80-JALEN. And leave us a voicemail, because tomorrow is Woman Crush Wednesday. Thursday, we will not have a podcast, but we have a little special present for you. And Friday, we will be back giving the people what they want. Part of giving the people what they want is opening up our subreddit, reddit.com/r/Jalen and Jacoby, our Twitter feed at Jalen and Jacoby, and our voicemail box, and taking questions from the people like this one from our voicemail box.
Yo, it's Big Crown right here. Shout out to everybody. Big Reg, Harlan, the whole crew. Shout out to the homie Uncle Mar, for sure. Got a question. I think it's safe to say that the Pistons are going to the playoffs this year. So, Jalen, would you be attending any Pistons playoff games? And is Stan Van the coach of the year? Let me know. What up? Peace.
Thank you for the call, Big Crown, our associate producer.
Shout out.
And every time you walk to your mailbox, there's a reason why it's been delivered on time.
Because Big Crown was involved.
No question about it. A couple of things. Here's the difference between a Die Easy fan,
Wait
Jacoby,
a second. I don't like where you're going here.
and a Die Hard fan, Jalen. I go to regular season games. I attended one with my brother, David, wifey, Molly, at the Garden this year.
That was a Knicks game. That wasn't a Pistons game.
How about this? I'll be at the Orlando game, December 17th. And we'll be attending plenty of games this year. Big shout to Stan Van Gundy, who, along with Brad Stevens, are going to be in the Coach of the Year conversation. Mike D'Antoni's going to get mentioned clearly. But the squad is doing a terrific job, and not only will we make the playoffs, but we keep playing like this. Depending on the matchups, we can get out of the first round. That ain't too much to ask.
Let's just keep this momentum to the All-Star break. There's a couple flagpoles in the NBA season. Christmas is his first base. All-Star, second base. End of the season, third base. End of the playoffs, home plate.
I know one thing we're not going to do in this program, and I'm going to give you a nice visual, Reg, that you should add to the pod.
Pods don't have visuals.
Or a nice audio you can add to the pod. Maybe I should say this on TV where it can be used.
Okay.
Anybody that's talking about MVP conversations and it ain't the NFL, they should get a Three Stooges slap.
You know we did that, though. You know you were out here talking about Giannis 1, LeBron 2.
That was preseason.
That was during the season.
That was preseason. That's so dumb. That conversation is so dumb. I don't produce this stupid show. I wouldn't have been doing that. That don't even make sense.
I agree with you. It seems like we start talking about the MVP by game 4. You know what I mean? Like, everyone's ready to give it to Giannis. They're like, oh, is Kristaps Porzingis in the top 5 in the MVP race? And
that don't even make sense.
It just kind of ruins the whole thing for me if you kind of if you just, I don't want to get philosophical, but enjoy the journey a little bit. You know? We don't have to talk about what it's all going to be like when it's over. Let's just enjoy the process a little bit right now. Trust the process.
Anybody that's talking about from this day forward, we might have to retire that. We might have to retire and give everybody a date when they can start talking about the NBA MVP. People talking about the MVP race, I'm like, the NFL?
Even the NFL one is boring, too. Is it Carson Wentz or Tom Brady? Who is it? Carson Wentz or Tom Brady? And then if you're one of the smart people, you're like, well, Kareem Hunt is actually the MVP. Well, guess what? Kareem Hunt hasn't done anything in 3 weeks. No. What was Big Crown's question?
I answered it already.
Okay, good.
Stan Van and the Pistons.
I just want to make sure that we get all of Big Crown's questions answered and treat him with the respect that he deserves. The greatest mail carrier in the history of mail carriers. He actually is, his ancestors invented the Pony Express. It's true. Yeah. Probably not. Probably not true. Big Crown.
Hopefully you're getting some of those royalties.
Big Crown, you're the best. Appreciate you. And I also like that Jalen called you an associate producer, because a couple dudes call it, be like fellow executive producers. Wait a second. Wait a second.
And just so y'all know,
have a higher title than I got.
You'll feel a lot better. If you're an executive producer, you're like Harlan or Jacoby or Barron or Reg.
I don't even think so.
Or Tanner. If you're an associate producer, you're like me.
Yeah, it's like when it's good, I did it, and when it's not good, it's someone else's fault.
Yeah. And Curtis and Alex, and I don't want to leave anybody out.
Kaylee.
What up, Kaylee?
Shout out.
Kylie.
Alyssa.
Allison. Alyssa.
Kylie Jenner?
No, she's not in the show.
She will be.
We get canceled.
She will be once Tristan get out here.
I don't think that's a good move, by the way.
Ooh, boy.
Next question we have is from our Twitter feed, and it speaks to something.
They put the Kardashians and the Jenners together in the Clipper uniform. Doc Rivers gonna grow an afro.
Doc Rivers' hair looks like a chia pet after 3 days. Like you just spread the seeds on it, you watered it a couple days, like nothing's happening, and I was like, I think I see some sprouts. This is from Brian Smith. It's kind of like what we talked about earlier. Is Marvin Bagley III going to be the number 1 overall pick in the 18 NBA draft? I have an answer for you. I don't know. I don't know. I watched some of the Duke game when they played UNC.
It's too early to call. You got to see conference play.
Who are they playing?
You obviously want to see who's drafting where and who's able to maneuver those picks. Just think about last year. The Boston Celtics were a number 1 seed, and they had the number 1 pick and traded it. But he is playing terrific basketball. I enjoy watching him being able to finish around the hoop, grab boards, multiple efforts, has nice bounce, has great length.
Next is from DJ. Jalen, you have to answer this as fast as possible with a yes or a no. Is kissing your dog in the mouth cultural?
Yes. I can't front.
Bring it on. We always keep it real on the wax.
I have had dogs that I kissed in the mouth before.
Okay.
I have. Growing up, we had Champ and Capone. My brother Kevin.
Is naming your dog Capone cultural?
No doubt.
Yes.
How about Champ?
Champ, no.
Here's the thing. My brother was like JJ on Good Times. He's always find things.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I'll say that because he's obviously matured and turned his life around for the better, and I love him dearly. And so we would have a couple of dogs every now and then. And as I got older, I had my own dogs. I had a Min Pin before. Didn't last long. My favorite dogs, I had a rock before named Cassius.
Ooh. Call him Cash?
Love that dog.
Call him Cash?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but my favorite dogs, as you know, were my South African Borbals.
I had to look that up. I looked it up like 3 times. Good-looking dogs. Look
expensive.
expensive.
That I had in Indiana.
They look expensive. Oh, that's the Indiana. Okay, now it makes more sense. This wasn't
no
Detroit.
Doubt about it.
The Borbals weren't in Detroit. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You need them to protect the fortress.
Okay.
When something moves, is going to be a problem with whatever's moving.
I like that. I like that a lot.
But one thing that ain't happening, you ain't sleeping in my bed.
No. That goes for dogs and that goes for my kids. Look, I'll never disrespect or judge the way that's one thing you learn when you're a parent. Like, you don't really judge the way other people get down. Like, whatever it takes to get you and your family through the day, like, God bless you. But one thing that's not happening in my house, kids in the bed. We got one rule in my house. If the power goes out, literally, if the power goes out that one night a year, then you can come in the bed. Other than that, I'll lock the door. You're gonna have to pick the lock.
I'm gonna flip that for people that takes it as, oh, he's being mean, oh, he's being cruel.
No.
Number one is direct discipline, teaching them how to be able to fall asleep in their beds at night alone. Number one. Number two, and more important, it's the sign of a happily married couple.
Yeah. I mean, look, and if you're listening to this right now, and you've still got a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old that sleeps in the bed with you every night, I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do. It's just not what I do. You know, I'm not judging. I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm saying this is what's happening in my house. I get that.
And also, if you're in your house and the tubes ain't tied, no kids sleeping in the bed for sure.
Okay. Next. That was a great question from DJ. Led to a great place. Let's listen to one more voicemail.
Jalen and Jacoby, what up, though? It's Luke, your big fan out here in Parachute, Colorado, the Wild Wild West.
Luke.
Reggie, shout out. Hey, fellas, I hope you had a nice Thanksgiving. Jacoby, I gotta put you on to my Aunt Terry's leftover turkey sandwiches, man. I heard you're not a big fan of them, but you gotta try Aunt Terry's out there in eastern Utah, brother. She makes these homemade rolls, man. And she gets your sandwich all set up. I had 4 of them. They were excellent. They traveled all the way back to Colorado, super moist, delicious. The key is that they're made with love and made with those homemade rolls. Jalen, bro, we had a rough fantasy weekend, man. I hope you squeaked out a win. I, too, drafted Larry Fitzgerald and Doug Baldwin, and they have been very, very solid this year, but, boy, that was a rough weekend. Hey, also a question for you guys. This is going to be a boss move or soft move and a cultural or not. It's a daily double. My question, picking up hitchhikers, all right? I've been known to do it from time to time. Of course, I understand that it can be a little bit risky or dangerous, but, helping out somebody who needs a lift, is it a boss move or a soft move? And is it in any part cultural? Appreciate what you guys do. Jalen, you pop the trunk. I pop the hood. Jacoby, keep popping the hatch on the back of that minivan, bro. Take care.
There's a lot to address there. First of all, Luke, good question. Second of all, I got the minivan Don. You know what the minivan Mafia Don does? While I'm walking up to the minivan, I pop the hatch with my key. And I open up the doors.
I got the keys.
I open up the doors, both doors with I got the keys. I could not just unlock and lock. There's so much I can do with my key. With my key, I can open up the hatch. I can open up both side doors. It does my taxes. And if I schedule it ahead of time, I can get a massage from my key.
Got the keys.
So, picking up hitchhikers. The best soft move or boss move questions are when the answer is not obvious. I could make a case for each. So I'm going to let you answer first, and then like a debate team, in high school, I'm going to make the opposite play. Soft move or boss move, picking up a hitchhiker.
It's a boss move for your intention, but it's one of those 98% tile things that could go wrong versus the 2% you're trying to help a fellow out or a young lady out. And you know what I'll do. Worst case scenario.
Keep going.
I'm going to keep normal, I'm going to keep going.
For me, it's a risk-reward evaluation, okay? Everything is a risk-reward evaluation. What's the reward? I do something kind for somebody else, help someone else in need, karmic balance, being a good person. That's the reward, that's the upside. Downside, I get murdered and or tortured and then murdered, okay? That doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? So if my options are expose myself to potential long, drawn-out 18 hours of torture and then murder, or not slow my day down and just keep it moving, I'm probably going to keep it moving. Hit the button, Reg. Now, second question. Is it cultural?
It's definitely cultural. No question about it.
It's cultural.
No question about it.
Anyone who's ever pitched up a hitchhiker, and I'm taking race out of this. I'm just taking race completely out of this. If you've ever considered picking up a hitchhiker, you do a quick evaluation head to toe. You know what I mean? Like, how dirty are the sneakers? Could they be carrying a weapon? How big is the bags they're carrying? How long have they been on the road? Are they on their way home from school, or are they homeless on their way across the country? Like, you do a quick up and down and just ask yourself, would I pick that person
You better.
up?
You're putting your life in danger.
I'm not doing it. I don't think I'm ever going to pick up a hitchhiker. I never say never, but I'm going to say never on that one.
I'm not saving a stranger in the car that's on fire. You think I'm picking up a hitchhiker?
Yeah, exactly. Again, I can just keep it moving and not get some karmic points, or I can get tortured and murdered.
But I do want to salute this citizen who takes that risk,
Luke,
to pick up others.
Luke and parachute.
And has literally, I guess, been safe at doing it, and I never want to discourage someone else from doing great deeds.
Luke, just call us every month on the 10th and let us know you're alive. Because if it's the 11th and Reggie said Luke didn't call yesterday, we're not going to put on the show every month. But if it's the 11th and Luke didn't call yesterday, guess what? We're going to send out a search party to Parachute, Colorado. We all remember Sunday, Aqib Talib snatching Michael Crabtree's chain for a second time. Adam Schefter has some new information about this, that Crabtree taped his chain down before taking the field. Jalen Rose, very important question. Soft move or boss move, taping your chain down before facing your rival?
That right there is a soft move, because it's not going to stop the other individual from running your jewels.
I think it just makes it more difficult, and therefore makes it more of a trophy when it gets accomplished.
It doesn't make it more difficult. Basically, what was happening in that scenario is it's symbolic of, not only do I not like you, I'm going to disrespect you enough that I'm going to snatch your chain and you're not going to do anything about it. So Michael Crabtree had to defend himself.
We have some statue news. Jalen, there's this planned statue of Evander Holyfield going up in downtown Atlanta outside the Flatiron Building, scheduled for 2018. Do you like this new statue, senior statue analyst?
I love it. Real deal Holyfield. The only thing is, can they do something with his arms?
No, I have another thing that I would like them to do. I looked at the statue, and I think they should take a little chunk out of his right ear. Based on, wouldn't that be nice? His right ear is fully formed. Don't you feel like it would be so nice, like a little wink-wink to one of the most memorable moments of his career? Should they take a chunk out of his right ear?
That, while it's a memorable moment, it's not a defining moment because he was a storied, multiple champion in different weight classes. So I get the joke and it's keys, but no.
I thought it'd be fun. Well, Arby's is going to buy Buffalo Wild Wings for $2.4 billion. We slander Arby's on this program all the time. How did they get $2.4 billion selling those sandwiches, Jalen? How did they get $2.4 billion selling those sandwiches?
Living in America.
Don't forget, ladies, call 985-80-JALEN. Leave us some voicemails. Ladies. We'll be back tomorrow as we are every single day, leaving you a dope pod to step to.
We're not done. We're not done.